Hi there, BookTube! My name is Cristina and today I'm here with a book review, and it will be a bit of a clumsy one because I've not prepared anything. I just really wanted to share a bunch of thoughts about this book before giving it back to the library. I'm so glad with my experience with libraries so far. The last time I used a library was when I used to live in Ukraine. Like, no, it's not true. I borrowed one book from the town where I lived with my parents, but finally now I'm using the library to its fullest and I'm so happy. And the book that I have here is Un'estate con la strega dell'Ovest. It's a book written by a Japanese author, by Kaho Nishiki, and in Japanese, sorry for the pronunciation because I don't speak a word of Japanese, but it's Nishi no majo shinda, and in English it's probably something like A Summer with the Witch of the West, but I'm not sure. I will put the title translated in English down here if I will find an official translation, but I believe that there is an official translation because this book actually was written in 1994. So this book is not a new one, it's been out there for a long time. This edition specifically is from 2017 and it's special because it has the main story and then there are 3 short stories that the author added to the story like later on with the same set of characters. And this book, first of all, let's appreciate the cover because it's like the coziest thing ever. I like it so much. It's just this cup of tea with the house and just lovely and beautiful. And this is one of those books that I can consider as a perfect read for kinda every season, but more specifically probably like in autumn when you want to think about like those cozy springtime while you're like in your blanket feeling a little bit chilly but so happy. That's the kind of vibe that this book gives me because it is set actually during springtime. Some of the moments are in winter, some others in other moments of the year, but mainly in springtime. And here we follow our main protagonist Mai, who is a young girl who is going to middle school. And the book is set in Japan because Mai, she lives in Japan, but her grandma is English. Her grandfather was Japanese, so she's not exactly half because from what I get, her mother and father, they are both Japanese, but still she has that kind of heritage in her. And she goes to her grandma who lives on the countryside in Japan, far away from the city, because she had some troubles at school and she decides to leave school and she doesn't want to come back. So her mother decides to send her to her grandma on the countryside just to pass a bit of time and decide what she wants to do later in her life, if she wants to go back to school or not. And the girl has this lovely relationship with her grandma, who is an amazing woman. And as you may like deduce from the title, she is a witch. And this is not a fantasy book. This is more like, I don't want to call it magical realism because there is no actual magic, like no superpowers, no potions or such, but the kind of magic, like the everyday magic, the one that comes from the care for your plants, the one that comes from home, the cozy, lovely one, that kind of magic. And so we're following this grandmother and her granddaughter, their relationship, what happens during that spring specifically, and how their interaction changes their life, how her grandma learns something from the young one, and how the young one actually learns her heritage of being a witch and what it means to her and how she will apply it to her life later on. This is very short. I mean, the main story is 100 pages and then there are 3 other short stories, and I just enjoyed it so much. It was, as I said before, it was a cozy read. It was very welcoming, very easy. It was translated, so I'm not very sure about the translation because for me personally, it kind of lacked that kind of extra cozy feeling that comes from a certain use of words and adjectives and a certain way of phrasing things, but it's just my personal taste, and I don't know if that happened because of the translation or if the Japanese version of this book was actually like that, but this is something that I missed. I wanted a little bit extra on that side. But overall, I really enjoyed it. It was lovely. I saved a bunch of quotes, not many, but some quotes were actually very, very important, and I saved some. And overall, I may recommend it to you as both a fast read or a read to slowly sip and just go with in those lazy, very tranquil moments, because this is that kind of book. It's not fast-paced, it's not hectic, there is not a bunch of like super actiony parts. It's slow, lovely, like just like a kind of, I don't know, a spoon of honey, something like that probably. So yeah, this is it. This was my experience with this book. I hope that you will give it a chance, you will read it. If you've already read it, then please let me know down below what were your thoughts. I absolutely enjoyed it, and I will check out if the author has written something else, because since it was written in 1994, I believe that there should be something else, so I will check it out if I can, and maybe in the future I will buy for myself this copy because it's so lovely. Even just the cover, I fell in love with the cover, honestly. And this book in particular has a funny story. I discovered this title because one day, it was before quarantine, I was traveling like on the underground, and I saw a guy staying there with a book open in his hands, and I saw the orangey part and I was very interested. Then he moved a little bit and I moved a little bit to check out the title, and I took a photo of him reading the book because I really wanted to, and fortunately no one noticed because I wasn't photographing the guy, I was checking out the book. That's how crazy we book lovers are. So yeah, I photographed the book, I saved it on my phone, and then when I was able, I checked it out from the library. And so that's the story of why I read this book in particular, because the title was very, very just unique, and I really wanted to know what it was about. I was expecting something more fantasy or magical realism like, but even like that, it was very perfect for me. Again, not exactly heavy on the cozy side, it could have been more, but still enjoyable, very Japanese-like. And if you read a bunch of Japanese literature, you know what I mean by that. Like, they have a certain way with words and a certain way, cultural way of describing emotions and interactions. So here you may find all of that. And now I will stop because I'm rambling. So this was my short kind of review for Un'estate con la strega dell'Ovest by Kaho Nashiki, and I will hope that you will enjoy the read. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very, very soon in my next video. Bye! Ciao!